And don't worry, I'll get you on Destiny someday. Once they fix everything.
But yeah,
Destiny 2, the January 31st development roadmap was tweeted out by Christopher Barrett on staff at Destiny 2 to offer transparency to a lot of the users that felt like Bungie wasn't saying anything. A lot of people got upset with Bungie over like December because they all decided to actually take a holiday for a change, and they went kind of radio silent for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I mean, I get it. There's a lot of stuff you want fixed, and there's a lot of y'all that's saying you won't play the game until they fix it. Well, here's the roadmap laying out exactly what they plan to change over the next 3 months or so. So, patch 1.1.2, it's already shipped out. I think it shipped out Tuesday. This was the big masterwork patch. We talked about this a few months ago, that they added the weapon masterworks, which added some more perks, some different things to kind of hunt down and grind for so that you could like take your favorite guns and make them masterworks. And they added kind of different stat bonuses and stuff to your guns. Well, now they're doing it with armor.
Okay.
And the way the armor masterworks work is that it basically will give you longer or more stronger defense while you're in your super. Maybe increase, some retard speeds, whatever. They are still kind of working out the balance of it, from what I understand, but it is pushed out. Now that Iron Banner is live for this month, you're starting to see a lot more of that kind of popping up. I know I haven't yet got any. I could masterwork something. I'm just kind of waiting to figure out what I want to armor-wise. But yeah, they pushed that out. So now all 5 of your armor pieces can become masterworks, and you can have all 5 of them at once. So it's not limiting you on, okay, you already have one masterwork armor. You can now have like every single one of them will be
right. It's not
able.
Right. It's not limiting you to one. You can do all of them.
And this was something that came kind of from talks with people in the Crucible. They felt like they would pop their super and then they would just die.
Yeah,
because
get
there's
focused down.
Yeah, there's 4 people shooting at you and you just drop like a sack of potatoes. Well, now, potato no more. Go ahead and get you all your masterwork armor on with your super defense, and you could tank some stuff.
They're not going to fry you.
Right. So that's big. That's a big thing, adding a little more grind, a little more something to chase after. Raid rewards have been improved. The raid armor and how they're doing that, because now they're adding perks to the raid armor, is that you'll have 2 different slots for perks now.
Okay.
So one will be just for raid perks, which you'll be able to put, like, it's a mod, right? So you'll be able to put your mod, and then you'll have your masterwork slot.
Okay, so that's the improvement.
Right.
Okay.
That, and they're adding a legendary ghost shell. In Destiny 1, we had all these ships that you could only get from beating the raid boss, like the final boss of the raid, and they had a very low drop rate. And so even after you've done everything in the raid, you'd keep running it because you want to try to get that ship.
Cosmetic
because people would see it when you're going into the Crucible or loading into a strike, and they'd be like, dang, this guy's done the raid.
He's done it a lot.
Dang, he got that ship. Yeah. So it's something that they're trying to...
Right. People want to... Something for people to
adding
work
a little
towards
bit
a little bit
incentive.
more. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And just at least to say, hey, you did it, right? And that's a lot of what Destiny 1's loot was. But this, they did that too, but they didn't make it feel as grandiose.
Right.
This latest patch also pushed out the Prometheus lens buff. I don't know if I told you about laser tag. I can't remember if we talked about that or not on the podcast. When the Prometheus lens came out with Curse of Osiris, it was broken as fuck. So their response was to nerf it, and it became pretty unusable after they nerfed it. They nerfed it a little too hard, and so now they're stepping back. They're gonna buff the Prometheus lens up a little bit. So yeah, they're fixing the dismantle timer for the Masterwork cores, which I guess this brings us to 1.1.3, strikes and social. They're adding nightfall scoring and high score tracking. They're going to be removing the timer that was on the nightfall previously. So the 15-minute time limit or whatever that they gave you to run through the super hard strike is now going to be lifted, and you're going to be able to instead meet a certain score requirement.
Okay.
From what I understand, you'll be able to actually pick your modifiers now. So you can go in and set different modifiers that will give you different score bonuses.
Okay.
Kind of like what they did with Halo Reach, if you remember back in the day. you could go in and set different like skulls that would give you different like score bonuses.
Right.
They're working on an emblem/aura rework. So basically, you finish the Nightfall Prestige Nightfall, and you got this dope little aura, but it didn't do anything. And so now they want to kind of give it a little more substance, not just like a cosmetic feel. Fire team members on the destination map. You would pull up your map, and you would have no idea where your friends just teleported to.
Okay, that seems so... Why they wouldn't have that already in the game,
just,
I don't know, but that seems self-explanatory.
Right, they didn't in Destiny 1 because you kind of just always followed each other around.
Right.
And you would just communicate and be like, I'm over here, go there. Gotcha. And so they never really worried about it. And now that PC players have joined the party, they're like, where's my fire team? Right? They're used to those kind of small quality of life things. Yeah. Which brings me to the next thing, PC public text chat. Which you would go to the tower and you could still only talk in party chat. So now that's basically you'll be able to go to the tower, you'll be able to type in the text chat if you want to. It's an opt-in. So you go to the menu and say, yes, please put public chat up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which I think from the start it's the same reason that people don't like hanging out in Call of Duty lobbies is because it turns into a bunch of kids screaming in your ear about stupid stuff.
Oh man,
and
play PUBG, dude. It's like
right. So exotic repetition reduction. So they're going to rework RNG so that it takes into account what you have and decrease the rate of those item drops more frequently.
Okay,
which is nice.
It's nice. Yeah.
I mean, it's something we need because it's a huge problem. I know my friend Dakota, who's in my clan, he has been looking for this one pair of Warlock gauntlets for like a long time. Can't get them to drop. Gets everything else, but can't get these to drop. So now it's going to be those. He'll be able to have that, like a better chance of getting that.
Gotcha.
They're going to be working on a companion mod / shader interaction and companion vendor viewers. So I think from your app, you'll be able to, on your phone, like the companion app, you'll be able to actually like take your shader and preview it from your phone if you're not at your PlayStation. And they'll be adding unique Nightfall Strike rewards. Cool. So that'll be coming February 27th, the end of this month. That's patch 1.1.3. Moving on to 1.1.4. This one's the big one. And this one will be coming out March 27th, so the end of March. This is going to be huge changes to the sandbox and the Crucible. So you'll be getting weapon ability sandbox changes. Basically, they like to do this about once a season anyways.
Okay, so these are big meta changes.
Right, so expect a big shift in the meta.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be buffing a lot of the abilities and decreasing their cooldowns. Because people feel like the Crucible is really slow right now, so they want to be adding in a little bit that they can...
a little bit more fast-paced.
Make it a little more fast-paced, yeah. They'll be adding the Heroic Strike modifiers. So the same Nightfall Strike modifiers that I talked about earlier, you'll now be able to add to the Heroic Strike playlist.
Okay.
The Heroic Strikes are about the same level as the Nightfall. It's just public matchmaking, and it's not as serious. It's not sweaty. You can die as much as you want. There's no timer.
You're not point score now.
Right.
Yeah.
Iron Banner 6v6. Huge deal.
Why don't they do 8v8?
Probably just not really doable on the maps. It's already going to be a big mess adding 6v6 because the maps are very tight.
Really?
Yeah, they've definitely shrunken down the map size and made them very like sightline based. A lot of cover, a lot of like hallways, different like you can tell that they took the time to like plan where people's engagements would happen. So I'm excited to see it come back, but I do think it's going to be a mess, and they're going to need to add some maps in the next DLC that are a little bit bigger. Otherwise, it's just going to feel
claustrophobic.
Yeah, it's going to get really messy. They're adding weekly Crucible playlists, and they will include Mayhem. They'll also be doing a little bit of Crucible ammo and gameplay tuning, and again, this is their big focus on trying to fix, or at least start making fixes to the Crucible to make it a little more exciting, a little more fun to play. And then the Crucible quitter penalties, that's a big deal. A lot of people get into a map and it's a game mode they don't want, and you've already been sitting there for 3 minutes waiting for the game to load, and then they quit right away. And they're also going to start working more on stopping repeated Crucible maps and strikes, which I don't know why it just tends to happen.
Really?
I don't know if this is their RNG, where yeah, you'll do a Crucible match and then you'll go load into another one, same map.
Yeah, that's dumb. They should.
Yeah,
You would think they would be
like,
easy to just make it like it won't repeat maps, but
right. It's just the way it works,
Yeah.
and they will be adding exotic weapon and armor sandbox changes. There's an asterisk here, so I guess we'll get more information about that or their stretch goals. So if they get them,
they might be coming out in the next
patch. They'll come out when they get to it.
Yeah.
It may even be a hot fix. They'll throw it in between some of these.
Right.
So,
1.1.5.
and this brings us 1.1.4.1.
1.1.
Yeah. So to end this all off, Season 3 will begin in May with the release of 1.2.0, which will be the new DLC.
1.2!
Which will add a Eater of Worlds prestige mode, so we'll have a hard mode for the new updated raid layer. It's a raid layer. There'll be new seasonal Crucible rankings, so this is big because they're going to be adding ranked playlists, basically.
Oh,
it's
wait,
going to show your rank.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's going to be two
season.
different ranking systems. Yeah.
Right, so
every season will reset.
Overwatch style.
Style, right.
Yeah.
This is also one that will launch private matches. It's the same thing they kind of did with Destiny 1. It took them a while to get it into Destiny 1. They didn't.
I can't believe they didn't start with private matches.
There's a reason. They wanted to feel out the Crucible first to see how it actually works naturally before kind of leaving it open for people to just go in and like butt heads.
With their friends? All right, well.
No, with private matches means tournaments.
So it's not like I just want a 3v3 with my buddies.
You can. 4v4 with your buddies.
4v4, excuse me, yeah.
But if you have private matches as an option, and this again, think Activision's on the back end of this, right? Who owns MLG, who wants to take this and run with it. They held off on private matches to make sure the Crucible was where it needs to be for the sake of the tournament play.
Fair enough.
On Activision's it.
Yeah.
Right? They're adding the multi-emote wheel. So basically right now you have one customizable slot for emotes and then 3 defaults.
Okay.
Now they're going to be adding it so that you can have multiple emotes in
go.
your one customizable slot. So
that's nice.
Yeah, easy. They're going to be adding the Masterworks to exotics in 1.2.0. So now you'll be able to get those same Masterwork perks on your exotic weapons.
That's actually pretty good.
There will be seasonal vendor progression, but
I doubt it. You think 1.1.4 is just going to be kind of balancing,
right?
Not so much.
I feel like there's a lot they need to take into consideration before they start tweaking those. I call them like semi-power weapons.
Yeah,
because right now you're putting snipers and shotguns in the same category as rocket launchers and swords and grenade launchers, right? And it's one of those things that, okay, why would I use a sniper and try to get a headshot when I can use a rocket and just kind of get close?
Yeah.
Like,
we've talked about this before, and I know it seems to like, well, it makes sniping not one of the standards. Like, where you would think in normal, in every first-person game, there's assault rifles, and sniper rifles.
Right. And what I kind of hope to see with that, and then this isn't necessarily in this development roadmap now, bring shotguns and snipers back into the elemental slot, which right now is basically the exact same as your primary slot, your kinetic slot. But, you don't give people... That's how it worked in Destiny. You had your special slot, which was only...
rocket launchers. And...
No, you had your heavy, which was only
your
rocket
heavy, right,
launchers,
that's right,
and your swords. And
then your special was your shotguns and sniper rifles, and then you had your standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they went away from that. I presume they wanted to...
It's because a lot of people were asking for more one-on-one gunfights. They felt like... And I know it sounds like we're backpedaling here, because this is what happens when Bungie tries to deliver everything that everyone's asking for. So people were asking for more one-on-one gunfights. They wanted gunplay. They were tired of getting killed by grenades from across the map. They were tired of being sniped. So that's what they did. They grouped everything that could one-shot you, put it into one category. And they nerfed the hell out of your abilities and cooldowns. Like, you can't... Like, grenades, typically, unless you've already gotten a shield at least halfway down, won't kill somebody. Melees won't one-hit kill somebody. But you have to... which they didn't in Destiny 1, but now it's like, it takes 3 hits to melee someone to death at full shield.
Fair enough.
So...
It's like Halo.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But it used to be 2 and you were good.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's even then so they were trying to make a lot of these changes to help please people, and then they flopped.
Right. People didn't like the changes. Yeah.
Right. And so that's where I think a lot of I feel a little bit of disconnect with a lot of the salt out there, is because I look at a lot of what people asked for, and then one of the other biggest complaints is that they stepped away from what was in Destiny 2 and they added a bunch of stuff that people didn't ask for, and it affected the gameplay. And we're all seeing that now. In hindsight being 2020,
right,
you're going to ask for D1 back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you realize that the changes that they have made make the game worse than D1 was, at least in the fans' view, you're going to have to start making some changes, and hopefully they're changes that make it better than D1 was.
Right. So one last question for you. With these kind of changes and me talking about them a little, does Destiny sound any more exciting to someone who isn't invested in Destiny 2? Is this something that makes you kind of think, maybe I'll pick it up?
No.
No. Still not enough?
No.
Okay. Because it definitely sounds like, to me, enough to at least bring me back and try out the changes.
I could definitely see that. I think that listening to you and the way you've talked about it, I would say I could see somebody who played it for the first couple of months and got kind of bored. These are the steps that they need to take to get those people back. I don't see it yet being at the point that would bring in new players. Maybe it'll be Taken King style, where that's when they get a new big boost in new players, is after their third DLC, right?
Yeah, I mean, I expect in September, and we'll probably see it over the summer, after the next expansion comes out, the next DLC is when we'll get a first major expansion, which will come probably in September.
Yeah.
This is just going off of what they've done in the past. I mean, it's almost an exact replica of the roadmap of D1. It's like D1 launched, November, December, Dark Below came out.
Yeah.
April, May was when House of Wolves came out, and then a huge Taken King launch in September. So, I mean,
it looks like they're going to do probably the exact same thing.
Yeah, it worked the first time. Why not keep it going? And so...
Yeah, so I might wait and see then when that comes out, by September-ish to see. But then Red Dead's coming out.
The next month, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it, we'll see what changes they make.